I really appreciate you joining me today, and I'm wishing all the subscribers a happy new year and thank you for all the support in 2021. Last year, I managed to donate a few £1,000s to charities in Birmingham and also in London as well, and I'm working and supporting a lot of different community projects that are going on. I want everybody to see where any donations go. So this year, I want to do even more. So any projects that anybody's working on, please contact me on news@scarcitystudios.com, and we can try to work together to support, promote, and also try to get other people involved as well. Any promotion on any of the platforms, Instagram, TikTok and Twitter, is free for any charities. The day before New Year's Eve, London broke a record, and it was for the amount of teenagers that have been murdered in 1 year. Since 2008, they haven't seen so many teenagers killed, and by the afternoon of the 30th of December, there was 30 teenagers dead. And as we enter 2022, of course, we have to try to be hopeful and optimistic. But with the chaos in society and so many people out of work and teenagers not in school, there is a lot of boredom and also a big problem with mental health. In 2021, I've documented the vast majority of knife crime attacks and murders in London and around the UK as well. And thank you to Dave Nathan for his help in London, getting the footage and also working with the families to ensure that the stories are done correctly. The first murder was on the 30th of December. It was one of two teenagers that were murdered, and the first one was in Croydon, and he was identified as Zaian, 15 years old, from the local area. His family were informed and supported by specialist police after he was found with fatal stab wounds in Ashburton Park, Croydon, shortly after 7 p.m. on Thursday. Officers attended and found him with multiple injuries, and they provided first aid assistance, and an ambulance arrived, but he was pronounced dead at the scene at 7:30. Dave Nathan went down to the scene and actually recorded the statement from the officer in charge of the case, and also showed forensics as they gathered evidence following the murder.
Right now, it must be incredibly poor, and I know the thoughts of all the people I work with in the Met are with mums, dads and families and brothers and sisters of their young people who died.
On Friday the 31st of December, a 15-year-old boy was arrested for the murder of Zaian, and he was taken to a South London police station but later released on bail. A post-mortem examination was held on Saturday the 1st of January, and they gave the cause of death as a stab wound to the heart. Detectives from the Specialist Crime Command, led by Detective Chief Richard Lennon, said, "My thoughts continue to be with Zaian's family and friends as they deal with this tragic loss. My team are working around the clock to try to give Zaian's family answers and also to make more arrests." He said the 15-year-old had his whole life ahead of him, and the community needs to work with us to bring those responsible to justice. And this was followed by a 16-year-old boy being stabbed in West London. He made it the 30th homicide of a teenager in the capital in 2021, and the record in 2008 was 29. The fatal stabbing on Thursday evening, shortly after the 15-year-old was killed in Ashburton Park, was very similar. It was also in a park, and another 15-year-old boy was arrested for murder. The 16-year-old victim was found in Hillingdon, and he died at the scene in the Philpotts Farm open space, and this was close to Heather Lane, and it was around 7:30 p.m. GMT. No arrests were made in relation to that case as of yet, but there is a murder investigation that has been launched. The post-mortem has yet to reveal the cause of death, but they confirmed that he was stabbed. Statistics revealed that 40 teenagers in the capital have been charged with murder in 2021, and Metropolitan Police Commander Alex Murray said, "My message today, other than speaking to the families and friends of those that have been lost in London, is to say you cannot carry knives on the street. This is what happens when knives are carried, and we all have a role in tackling knife crime. We also have a direct message to parents. If you have concerns, talk to your children. Make sure they're not carrying knives. Make sure they're not hanging around with anybody that is carrying knives." And the Metropolitan Police have had 122 investigations in London this year alone, and 79 of them have been stabbings. There has been a number of serious case reviews into the reasons as to why there is so many murders and manslaughter cases among teenagers in London. No results have yet to be published, and police say a lot of disagreements stem from social media and result in real life violence. They also blame county lines as a contributing factor, but critics say that this has been going on for a long time, and drugs being sold in other counties is not unusual. COVID lockdown and the closure of youth services and young people being out of school has definitely got to be a contributing factor. But the statistics show a shocking trend that is occurring in definitely the inner cities and especially London. These spate of murders heading up to the new year follows on from the murder of 27-year-old Jabari Gooden, who was murdered just before Christmas on the 17th. There was no arrest to start with. Crime Watch actually offered £20,000 reward for any information that led to the murder that occurred outside a barber's in the Peckham area. This happened at 3:15, and the 27-year-old was found on Rye Lane with multiple stab wounds and died in hospital. This definitely goes to show that knife crime is definitely not just focused on children. This is affecting everybody, be this mental health, be this violence, be this an argument, all sorts of different reasons as to why people are getting angry and killing each other. But the latest update in that case is that 3 people have actually been charged and would appear in court in connection to his murder. And I know that somebody did message me the other day asking me about this story, so I thought I would include it in this episode to be able to give you as much information as on the latest updates as possible. So I really appreciate you joining me for this episode. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and don't forget to follow me online as well at scarcitystudios.com. Peace.